Hello once again, TJ here at the Imaginary Gallery. Welcome. This is part 3 of a 3-part series regarding the 3 stages of narcissistic abuse, which is very strange because it's universal. It's like these people all do the same things, and it's amazing to think that people all over the world are doing the very same techniques, but this is the 3rd stage. Now, in the last stage, we discussed how all of a sudden all the wonderful things about you have become subject to scrutiny and attack, and you're really confused because you were under the impression that the person you are is perfect for them, and yet now all of a sudden, whether it's him directly or her directly, or gossip of my friends think you're strange or whatever, well, at this point, it's going to transition because the narcissist is always looking for new sources of supply. You'll never know it. They'll disappear, not come home, and you'll wonder where they were and suspect something, but they'll be like, oh, and they'll have a perfectly good explanation for it. But the point is, they've been scoping out, they're always scoping out the new supply. So chances are, when they found some, or maybe like spent some time with one and think this is going to be the next one, you'll get more insulted, and you'll still try to fix things, but it won't work. But this will happen, and eventually there's the discard, which is the 3rd stage, and you'll be shocked at the discard because in your life, your friendships normally develop, or relationships of any kind, work, business, bosses, friends, family. Well, not family because you're with them all your life, but basically, in your life, it's like a process that's slow, and in this one you were like thrown right in, but this person all of a sudden changes because remember, you don't realize this yet, but they're wearing a mask, and the mask ends up slipping off, and so when that happens, you're shocked because sometimes you see a completely different person than the one you've been with all this time, and they may even tell you, I'm done with this, and they just vanish. They don't talk to you. They completely block you out, and you don't understand because, again, in your experience, if you felt so strongly about something and you had a problem with it, well, you'd work on it. But now this person is just like, oh, well, I'm done. I'm through. And your mind is like full of all the chemicals and drugs and love bomb stuff, and you're thinking, how can you just walk away? And that's what they do, because the whole time you were not really anything special at all. You were simply a source of supply for whatever they needed that they're not going to tell you, but whatever it was, they got it from you, and now they found a new, fresh source. So kind of like the drugs that they were getting from you, they've worn off, and they want somebody new. So you'll often be surprised about how quickly they immediately cut you off, and they're off with someone else, and they're all happy, and you're left wondering, well, what's wrong? What's wrong with me? Oh, I thought I was the person this person wanted, and now I'm not. And it doesn't make sense to you to think that somebody could go from basically A to Z. A would be intense loving and admiration, and Z to complete, you're a piece of crap. And that's just not a logical thing for your brain to handle, but nevertheless, that's what's happening. So you may try to work things out, but the problem is you've been discarded. So you're out of there, and the person's not even thinking about it anymore. I've heard it described as when you're with the narcissist in the first 2 stages, or I guess the 1st stage, you're like a person on their cell phone. They use it every day, they love it, and then one day when it breaks, they toss it aside. They don't care about it anymore. They don't even think about that old cell phone anymore because they got a brand new one that's better and has better features and gives them more supply. So that's the way this works. You're basically a cell phone. You're basically a piece of property. You're basically an object. You're not a person. Even though the narcissist made you believe that the person you are is so great, so then you're discarded. And that can be devastating because, again, you thought you finally found the perfect person, and a lot of times it comes from your own personal growth of allowing yourself to believe this person's for real, and you finally start to get there, and then this happens. So it can be devastating, but the reasons for this will be discussed probably in a follow-up video, but that's the final stage, and just keep in mind this new person that they found, and you'll probably see pictures on Facebook of them smiling and hugging and kissing, and they're in love, and it's all that's designed for you. Even though you're not with the narcissist anymore, they still punish you from beyond the grave or beyond the relationship. So even they know that you're like left wanting to know what happened, and that's another thing with these people. There is no closure because the whole thing you were dealing with was an illusion. So you can't really get any kind of factual understanding of an illusion because it wasn't real. But you'll keep trying, and they won't tell you it wasn't real. So you'll be like in a state of mental confusion many times, and that's when we recommend seeking psychotherapy. And it's basically a form of post-traumatic stress disorder because your brain is like a scrambled eggs because it's gone from like A to Z over a period of how many months, years, or sometimes decades, and it's just not a normal experience. It doesn't fit anything you've ever gone through before. Anything else, like just to compare, you had a best friend, you loved him, you had a great time, but eventually this happened and they moved and it just slowly faded, but you still talked a little and you faded away. But this thing was like, bam, right there in the face, and then gone. And it's just hard for the brain to comprehend. And of course, that works to their advantage because that keeps you in a state of confusion, and then you're therefore easier to manipulate. But anyway, that would be our discussion of the discard. And feel free to like and comment and tell your own story if you'd like, because they're all very similar, but it's interesting to hear other people who experience some of the same things. And together we'll wipe these people out of the world.